I'm Tharanki Ramacharaka. This video is about Satanism, its rituals, its purpose, its methods, and its ends. I'm taking this information, this is going to be an oration from a website called The Watcher Files, THEWATCHERFILES.com/alien_races, I have asked permission from the website administrator or the editor of the website regarding my narration or oration of this passage from a single page on that site. The page is called Known Alien Species and Races. I will give you a link to this below in the description area. I have not heard back. I did imply, or well, actually explicitly state in my inquiry regarding permission to do this, that if I did not hear back, I would take it as implicit permission to go ahead and do it. So I haven't heard back. Here we go. If I run into any problems with this, which, by the way, is for educational purposes only, if that makes a difference, I will take it down. I will simply take it down. But I believe that probably the person who wrote this, whoever it is, would like people to know about it. Therefore, I'm providing a link down below. Like I said, I have given credit where credit is due. Let's go. The Reptilian Blood Legacy is the section of this page that I am reading from. The Reptilian Blood Legacy. The black magic rituals we know as Satanism are the modern expression of the rituals and human sacrifice in ancient Babylon and the Brotherhood-infiltrated societies of the Sumerian, Phoenician, Hittite, Egyptian, Canaanite, and Akkadian peoples, among many others across the world. It has been a seamless procession through history of the same rituals to the same deities, and this remains of fundamental importance to the initiates of the Brotherhood today. My use of the term Satanism here has nothing to do with the Christian version of Satan. I use it only to describe a system of ritual sacrifice and torture, which, staggering as it may seem to most people, is commonplace all over the world today. Satanism is just another name for the worship of a highly destructive, negative force which has been given endless names over the centuries. Nimrod, Baal, Moloch or Molech, Set, the devil, Lucifer. There is no end to them. Satanism perverts everything positive in the same way that the Nazis took a positive symbol, the swastika, and turned it around to symbolize the negative. This is why Satanists invert the pentagram and why they use black to symbolize the darkness, hence their black mass. But they also reverse the symbolism of white, and that is a powerfully negative color then to them. The Satanic networks, under the names of their various deities, were created by the Babylonian Brotherhood to serve their needs. We may have seen that the accounts of the Watchers, and when it says here we have seen, well, it's referring to earlier in this article or on this webpage that I have linked you to and which I have now named a couple of times. Right? We have seen that the accounts of the Watchers and their offspring, the Nephilim, include references to their blood-drinking activities. Now, the Brotherhood know that blood contains the life force energy. Drinking menstrual blood has always been a feature of the reptilian bloodlines because they need blood to live in this dimension. It was known as the starfire, the female lunar essence. The female menstrual cycle is governed by the cycles of the moon, and the blood contains that energy. Its ingredients are supposed to ensure a long life. In India, it was called soma, and in Greece, it was called ambrosia. This was said to be the nectar of the gods, and it was the reptilian gods who are genetic blood drinkers. The Holy Grail, chalice or cup, is also symbolic of the womb and drinking menstrual blood, as well as being a symbol of the reptilian so-called royal bloodline itself. Menstrual blood was provided for the elite, capital E-L-I-T-E, the elite of the reptilian royal line by virgin priestesses, and this is the origin of the term scarlet woman, or to the Greeks, sacred woman. The Greek word for this, hierodulai, that is H-I-E-R-O-D-U-L-A-I, was eventually translated into English as harlot, and into German as Hores, or H-O-R-E-S, the origin of whore. The word ritual derives from this practice. R-I-T-U, ritu, translates as redness. And so do the words rite, R-I-T-E, and red, R-E-D. Menstrual blood is one reason why the color red is so important to Satanists, and it is another reason for the constant use of the color gold by the royal bloodlines. Gold is called the metal of the gods, but to the Anunnaki of the Sumerian tablets, menstrual blood was the gold of the gods. The reptilians and their crossbreeds drink blood because they are drinking the person's life force, and because they need it to exist in this dimension. They will often shapeshift into reptilians when drinking human blood and eating human flesh. I am told by these people who have seen it happen. Blood drinking is in their genes. And an elite high priestess or mother goddess in the hierarchy who performed rituals for the brotherhood at the highest level told me that without human blood, the reptilians cannot survive in this dimension. Excuse me. Her name is Arizona Wilder, formerly Jennifer Ann Green. Interestingly, she said that the reptilians had been pursuing the Aryan peoples around the universe because the blood of the white race was particularly important to them for some reason, and the blonde-haired, blue-eyed genetic stream was the one that they wanted more than any other. They had followed the white race to Mars, she said, and then came to Earth with them. It's far from impossible that the reptilian arrival on this planet in numbers was far more recent than even many researchers imagine. Excuse me. An interbreeding program only a few thousand years ago between the reptilian Anunnaki and white Martian bloodlines already interbred with the reptilians on Mars would have produced a very high reptilian, well, where am I? A very high reptilian genetic content. This is vital for the reasons I have explained earlier. They appear to need a particular ratio of reptilian genes before they can shapeshift in the way that they do. But when the interbreeding happened is far less important than the fact that it did happen. Satanism is based on the manipulation of energy and consciousness. These deeply sick rituals create an energy field, a vibrational frequency, which connects the consciousness of the participants to the reptilians and other consciousness of the lower fourth dimension. This is the dimensional field, also known as the lower astral to many people, which resonates to the frequency of low vibrational emotions like hate, fear, guilt, and so on. When a ritual focuses these emotions, as Satanism does, a powerful connection is made with the lower fourth dimensions, the reptilians. With the lower fourth dimension, the reptilians. These are some of the, so to speak, demons which these rituals have been designed to summon since this whole sad story began thousands of years ago. This is when so much possession takes place, and the reptilians take over the initiate's physical body. The leading Satanists are full-blood reptilians cloaked in human form. These rituals invariably take place on vortex points, and so the terror, the horror, the hatred created by them enters the global energy grid and affects the Earth's magnetic field. thought forms. Thought forms of that scale of malevolence hold down the vibrational frequency and affect human thought and emotion. Excuse me. Go to a place where satanic rituals take place and feel the thought and emotion. Feel the malevolence and the fear in the atmosphere. What we call atmosphere is the vibrational field and how it has been affected by human thought forms. Thus, we talk about a happy, light, or loving atmosphere, or a dark and foreboding one. The closer the Earth's field is vibrationally to the lower fourth dimension, the more power the reptilians have over this world and over its inhabitants. Satanism is not just a sickness and a perversion, although it is that too. Its main reason for existence, from the Brotherhood's point of view, is to control the Earth's magnetic field, to worship and connect with their reptile masters, to drink the life force of their sacrificed victims, and to provide energy for the reptilians who appear to feed off human emotion, especially fear. These sacrifices are literally sacrifices to the so-called gods, the reptilians, and they have been happening for thousands of years. The mass sacrifice of people by the Aztecs in Central America and so many others were to provide food for the reptilians, the physical reptilians, and their crossbreeds who eat the bodies and drink the blood, and energy nourishment for the non-physical reptilians of the lower fourth dimension. Phil Schneider, a builder of U.S. underground bases, told the writer and researcher, Alex Christopher, that when children reached the point where they could not work anymore in the slave conditions underground, they were consumed by the reptilians. They prefer young children because young children are not contaminated like adults. Harder to accept? I'm sure your mind is screaming nonsense, because who wants to face a truth like this, huh? But unless we do, how is it ever going to be stopped? Satanic rituals take place at night because that is when the magnetic field is most stable. During the day, the electrically charged particles of the solar wind cause turbulence in the field and make interdimensional connection more difficult. It is most stable during total eclipses. And this is when native peoples hold their most important ceremonies to contact and manifest other dimensional entities. The tribal shamans know this. Satanic rituals and human sacrifice, especially of children, are performed on a vast scale and involve some of the most famous politicians, business people, media owners, and entertainers on the planet. And of course they do. It would be amazing if they didn't, given the background. These rituals and human sacrifices have always been the foundation of the Brotherhood's so-called religion since ancient times. And the Brotherhood manipulates its satanic initiates and gophers into positions of political, economic, business, military, medical, and media power, and into influential positions in the world of entertainment. Therefore, the ratio of Satanists and child sacrifices at the top of these professions and institutions is staggeringly high compared with the general population. Apparently, according to former Satanists I have met and read about, some world politicians are addicted to blood taken from a victim at the moment of sacrifice because of the adrenaline which is produced at that time. I am told this addiction is quite common among Satanists, and researchers into the reptilian question suggest that this is the substance the reptiles also want. Well, it all fits. Look below for a link to this website, this web page, this article. I am Tharan Q. Ramacharaka. Be well.